I'm not surprised that the White Sox are where they're at because I knew they'd be better than where they have been the last 3 years, which isn't hard with the 100 losses. I'm more surprised the rest of the American League is so crappy. Yankees obviously have gotten off to a good start. The Rays are playing unbelievable. And then Sacramento, the Athletics, I still want to call them Oakland. Um, Other than that, it's not really a very good American League. So it's kind of interesting that they're alive in the playoff race with where their record is. Now, can they sustain this? I think they can hover around 75 to 80 wins at the end of this year, and they're entertaining to watch at least, which is a huge step up from where they've been. But I mean, I think the White Sox have a chance to hang around, and maybe they'll make some moves if they'll spend some money. But Murakami's been great. Colson Montgomery hits home runs. The rest of the lineup brings energy. Miguel Vargas has kind of figured it out a little bit. If you haven't seen Davis Martin pitch, tune in when he pitches. He's really, really good. Sean Burke has been really good. So I think that they're better. I think they're better probably than I even thought they would be when they get Kyle Teal back. Hopefully soon as their catcher, they'll even take another step. But it's in the right direction. And for the first time in a long time, the White Sox fans can smile and say, hey, we're proud that our team is going in the right direction.
You said it, and I've said it so many times. Sometimes just being enjoyable to watch is a good threshold and a good standard to get to. Just get butts and seats and people have fun watching your team. But with that being said, you mentioned, right now they're in the postseason race, a lot of baseball left to be played. But what would success necessarily be for the White Sox this season?
I think being in a race for longer than April is a success already. They're already into May, so it's already been more of a success. I mean, you have to look at the last 3 years. They've lost 100 games. 2 years ago, they lost 121 games, the most games of all time. So anything, listen, White Sox fans, I get to talk to a lot of White Sox fans. They're just enjoying the ride, and they're enjoying the fact that we can tune in and actually say, hey, we have a chance tonight, and we're having fun, and they're playing the game the right way, and they're fun to watch and tune into. That's a success already. Now, wins and losses are the ultimate indicator of how good you are. But I think if they hang around and if they win, if they get to 75 to 80 wins, that's a huge success for where they were the last 3 years. So I think this year's already been a success, and it'll only continue to get better. Now, I'd love for them to go out and make some trades. I don't think they'll do it, but make some trades, bring on a little bit of payroll, and try to actually go for this because the AL Central, I don't know if y'all have seen the standings, is very gettable. Guardians aren't doing much. Tigers have played awful the first 2 months of the year. Royals haven't been great, and then obviously the Twins aren't even trying this year. So it's gettable. That's the one good thing about the AL Central. It can turn around quickly because a lot of the teams, they don't have high payrolls, and they're trying to win on margins. And if you can beat them, you can get into the postseason.
Let's go back to something you just said, though. You said you'd like to see them make some trades. You don't think they'll do it. Why?
Have you followed the White Sox the last few years and their payroll and their spending and their desire not to trade guys at the right time? I don't know why. Maybe they will this year. They've done it in the past. I know when I was there, we made some trades that were questionable, but at least we tried. So I think, will they go for it? I hope so. I hope they'll at least try to do something to improve the team. But why won't they? I don't know. Chris Getz has never been in this situation. So a lot of times when young GMs get put in this situation, you don't know how they're going to react. I hope he does. I played with Chris Getz. Hopefully he tries to be aggressive and goes for it. And you don't want to blow up the whole farm system and all that, but at least make some moves that'll give you a chance.
I want to zoom out a little bit. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, the landscape of the AL. The reason why the White Sox are kind of comfortably in a position is because there's only 4 AL teams over 500. How does that happen? Why are we where we currently are in the American League?
Because there's no salary cap. That's why, and all these teams are just running away with it. That's why. No, it's because there's parity and teams have figured out how to win. This is why the salary cap argument makes no sense. The Mets have one of the highest payrolls, and they're not very good right now. The Rays have one of the lowest payrolls, and they're topping the Yankees. They're 14-2, 15-2 their last 15, 16, 17 games, and they've passed the Yankees and have a 2-game lead on them. And the Pirates are playing better. Sacramento, as we talked about, spent a little bit of money, and now look at them. They're ahead of the mighty Mariners and the Astros and the Rangers, teams that obviously spend more than they do. So it's about teams starting to figure it out and realizing, hey, if I pay my stars at a young age, like a lot of these teams the Brewers have done, we can keep them around longer, and therefore we have stuff to build around. And then if we develop properly and we can figure out this development thing, we can compete. And teams have started to figure it out, and it's been good for the game. That's why there's so much parity. I mean, even the National League, look at the National League. Everyone thought the Dodgers were going to run away with it. The Padres are right there with them, right? The Braves have the best record in baseball, team that wasn't very good last year. Cubs on fire, right? Another team. I think actually they might have passed the Braves with all their 10-game winning streaks. So it's about teams figuring out how to win with what they have and doing it the right way. And I'm here for it because I want a chance for all 30 teams to win. I mean, not just as everyone says, oh, the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees. Well, there's other teams out there that actually really have a shot to win this year.
That being said, AJ, I think we're contractually obligated to talk Dodgers anytime we talk baseball because they're the Dodgers. So let's stick with Shohei for a second. 1 home run in the last 111 plate appearances. We say on this show all the time, don't panic, it's a long season. When do we start to get concerned about the lack of power for Shohei right now?
I think it's a combination of the pitching, because he's back pitching every 6th, 7th day, whatever it is, and the fatigue it puts on your body. You have to understand I hate to say he's getting old, but he's older than when he was pitching last time. And there is a fatigue. If you talk to any starting pitcher, they will tell you, no matter how long they've been doing it, the next day after you pitch, you're tired, you're sore, your body doesn't feel the same. You just kind of want to lay around and don't do a lot. That's why guys used to run and Adam Wainwright, a guy I work with on Fox, he used to call it the old man walk. He'd go for a long walk just to flush the body. Well, Shohei doesn't have that opportunity because he has to hit the next day. And you see Dave Roberts trying to combat that with some more days off and giving him a little more rest. And he's not DHing when he's pitching. It's a different animal. That's why Shohei, for those years when he was doing both at such a high level, is the best thing I've ever seen. Is he the best player that I've ever seen in my lifetime? Absolutely, because he can do both. But it'll eventually catch up to him, and he's putting so much effort into pitching. He's come out and said, I want to win the Cy Young. That's the one thing I haven't won. Well, if he's focusing all on pitching, it's got to take away a little bit from your hitting. And we're starting to see it. Can he turn it around? 100%. We're 40 games in. He'll probably still hit 40 homers and have a great year, but it has to take away from your focus on hitting, because the one year he just hit, we saw what he did, 50-50.
You said it. We're 40 games in. It's May. We have a lot of baseball left to be played. But when it comes to the Dodgers, it's championship or bust. So I feel like it's at least fair to bring up a championship in the Dodgers conversation. If the Dodgers win a 3rd consecutive World Series, that will say what about the current state of Major League Baseball?
That the Dodgers are really good and they reinvest into their product because they're making more money than anyone else, and they reinvested into their team. Listen, I still think the Dodgers are the best team 1 through 26. I think the Braves I think it's different this year, though. I think the Cubs have a chance against them. I think the Braves, who just took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, have a chance against them. I think the Padres have a chance against them. It's a little more wide open than what it's been in the past. Not saying I still think the Dodgers are the best. And if you turn into foul territory, we do power rankings, and I'll keep them number 1 until someone beats them. But I think the Yankees have a chance because the Yankees are really good this year. The Rays are really good this year, as we just talked about. There's other teams in this league that can beat the Dodgers. And let's not forget, the Toronto Blue Jays were about this far away from beating them last year, and everyone would have said, oh, there's no way this Dodgers team can lose. It's baseball. Crazy stuff happens.
All right, so you mentioned the Mets earlier. Let's go back to that. Another high payroll. How do you fix them? How do you fix teams that have spent a ton of money that aren't winning?
How do you fix the Mets? Let me see. Well, they need to make better decisions. I think they don't have the pitching. They're what's funny is their pitching is good, not great. Okay, I love Freddie Peralta. He's been okay. Clay Holmes has been outstanding for them. But it's the other bullpen. McLean hasn't been as good as he was last year. He's still really good. But the bullpen has been an issue. You're showing Craig Kimbrell right there. If you would have told Mets fans we're in May and we're relying on Craig Kimbrell, they would have said you're crazy, right? Devin Williams hasn't been great. Luke Weaver hasn't been great. 2 of their big free agent signings. And the biggest problem is their offense. Where is the offense gone? I mean, Soto's doing fine, but I did their game this weekend on Fox against Arizona. Bo Bichette, who we're showing right there, hasn't gone off to a great start. Some of the other guys haven't been good. Polanco's hurt. Lindor's hurt. Brett Beatty's not doing things. Francisco Alvarez is really struggling. if I'm facing the Mets, and I had multiple people tell me this, why do you ever pitch to that guy right there? Why do you ever pitch to Juan Soto? Make everybody else in this lineup beat you, especially in a big situation. Sure, you let Soto hit a solo home run here and there, but if the other guys behind him aren't hitting, why would you ever let Juan Soto beat you ever? He's gonna get almost. I'm not saying the Barry Bonds treatment, but it's got to be close.
See, the sports broadcaster in me says Mets fans deserve better, but the baseball fan in me says don't fix them, keep them right where they are. Because I am a Cardinals fan. I'm born and raised in St. Louis, lifelong Cardinals fan. I didn't have very many expectations going into this season, but where things stand right now, the Cardinals have exceeded my expectations, 23-17. But the NL Central is an absolute juggernaut. Do I have any reason to get my hopes up that the Cardinals can get back to where I'm accustomed to seeing them, and that is in the postseason?
Yes. You want to know where? Why? Because they have a guy. First of all, they have Heimblum, who I absolutely love, and I think he does a tremendous job of developing, finding all this stuff with players. I think he was amazing in Tampa. He went to Boston, did everything they asked for. They fired him because they made him trade Mookie Betts. I don't know what else he could have done in Boston. All the players you see, most of them drafted by him and developed by him before Breslow got in there. So I love Heimblum. And then, do you know where their manager went to high school? Do you guys know where Ollie Marmol went to high school?
No.
I do not.
Orlando. It's a high school called Dr. Phillips. And there's another guy on this show that also went to Dr. Phillips. So we have we hold Ollie Marmol in high esteem, in my mind at least. But he's done a great job. John Jay, Daniel Descalso, Pop Warner, Stubby Clabb, all the guys that helped the Cardinals develop. And we're showing Jordan Walker right there. What a monster he's become, right? It's finally, everyone develops at a different time. He's finally gotten freedom. He's gotten, as they always say, the runway to play every day. He's become a star. I think the Cardinals can hang in it. And also, their pitching is really good. It's young, but their pitching is really good. They have stuff. And that's one thing that can help them stay in it. Can they stay with the Cubs all year? No, I think the Cubs will win this division. Do I think the Brewers eventually keep going, who just swept the Yankees, by the way? Absolutely. They're really good. But, hey, this is something awesome for Cardinals fans. And someone that played for the Cardinals for about 3 months, I know how special it can be in St. Louis in the summer.